Hello everyone, today we're going to talk about beating master difficulty and escape mode on the map The Hive for Gears 5. So to get this done, you're going to need a character that's a pretty high level, and you're going to need two other players that have also got characters to high level. I'll explain why in a minute if you don't understand why you have to do that. The best combination of characters in this, in my opinion, is Lani, Mac and Keegan. That's because they have abilities that complement each other really well. If you're trying to do this on your own, you're probably going to have a really tough time, because if you search online on your own, this doesn't have a solo mode, by the way, but if you try and search on your own, you're more than likely going to come across low level players who seem to not understand how this works and how you do this a lot easier, and they're just either looking for a carry or they're just thinking they can jump straight into it and get it done. And I guess that's because in other games, doing the harder difficulty kind of just comes down to your skill level and how good you are at the game, and if you're better, you're probably going to have an easier time. But in Gears, as you rank up, you unlock card slots and cards that make your character more powerful, and doing master difficulty really requires that you have the cards ranked up, and to rank the cards up, you need to get duplicates of those cards to take them to higher level, and there's a certain combination you've got to use between each of the three characters to make this as easy as possible. Like I said, if you don't have those cards, you're really going to struggle to get this done. It takes a lot of grinding to get the cards you need and to get the amount of duplicates you need to get them to high levels. Some of the cards are easier to get than others. They have different levels. I think they're green, blue and purple and gold. Each character has one gold card that you unlock at level 16, although I'm not using the gold card for this. I'm just using a couple of the greens, I think a blue one and a purple one, and the last card I'd say you can mix up a little bit if you want to. You can use what you want, because there's only really 4 cards that are necessary for the Mac character. He has boosted health, which is very useful because you take a lot of damage and the enemy's really powerful. They do a lot of damage to you. At the beginning here, you kind of need good RNG. You can sometimes get a bunch of drones hanging around the door, and other times it's just rejects. But yeah, Keegan also has bleeding damage when he hits active with the Boltok. So if you hit an enemy with a couple of shots, they're going to continue to take damage after you've shot them a couple of times. And because one of the mutators in this mode is that the enemies regenerate their health over time, that comes in really handy. Just to keep hitting them with those active shots, they'll keep taking damage over time, and it makes it less likely that they'll get their health back. I'm also using a card where I can do more damage when I'm in the Venom. The Venom moves faster in master difficulty on this map. I'm pretty sure between the maps the mutators can change, but in this one the Venom moves twice as fast. And yeah, it's really useful to have the card where if the Venom catches up to you, you just do more damage. So if you're getting pinned back against the wall, or at the end when the Venom's coming up on you and you're trying to escape, you can just use that effect to do more damage and kill whatever's in front of you. One of the things that's really vital in doing the master difficulty is to have the card on with Keegan, where if he marks people, whoever kills the people that he marks, they get a reduction of the cooldown on their ultimate ability. I mean, that's useful for everyone, but it's also really useful for Keegan because we need him to get his ammo box as fast as possible. Keegan's ultimate ability is that he throws down a box that gives anybody who's standing near it ammo resupplies. There's also a couple of cards you can get where the teammates standing near the ammo box get more ammo, and it lasts for longer. Those are cards that you want to be using. He also has a card that allows him to do more hammer burst damage, which is very, very useful. Lani has cards that make her melee damage a lot stronger, and I think her ultimate ability is the knife, and she sort of goes ham with it and just starts spamming it at enemies. You can make it so that it affects nearby enemies with like a shock charge. I'm pretty sure that's what's being used by the Lani we have with us here. Also, there's an achievement for getting master difficulty done, or beating a hive on every difficulty, and obviously master is the most difficult one, but there's also an achievement for beating a hive on master difficulty without firing a shot. And I'd say you're going to want to use the same setup as we do here, but Lani is the one who won't shoot any shots. She just does as much melee damage as possible and executes enemies as well. There's a technique that I think a lot of people probably don't know about yet. We didn't know about it for a while whilst we were doing this. You see me just take out that enemy there with an execution. If you melee twice and then on the third press, just after you hit the second melee, if you hold B, you'll sort of bring your gun up above your head and slam it down on the enemy's head, and that will stun them and open them up for an execution. So on these harder difficulties, the enemies are a lot tougher, so it really helps to get that stuff done. Also, in the beginning here, you want to execute as many enemies as possible, and do your best just to stick together. So if somebody goes down, you can pick them up quickly, get the revive, and just move on. There's flash grenades, incendiary grenades, normal grenades, and a boom shot in these 3 supply rooms. There's one on the right as you come towards them and 2 on the left. And if you only get 2 shots in the boom shot, save the ammo pouch that's in one of the rooms, the explosives ammo pouch, for the person who picks up the boom shot. So what we're aiming to do here is basically get our ultimates by this point. Keegan has his ultimate ability right now, and that's what we're waiting for. I need to get Boltok ammo so that I can take out the Scion in this room. I also need my ultimate ability so that when the Scion does show up, I can shield myself and just pump shots into the Scion as he comes towards us. You can see there that Mac is using the card where he can mark more than one person. Sorry, Keegan is using the card where he can mark more than one person, and that makes it easier for us to get our ultimate abilities. Like I said, whoever kills the enemies that he marks, it gives us a cooldown to our ultimate ability. I've got that bleeding damage on the Boltok maxed out, so it makes it a lot easier for me to take out the normal drones. But when the Scion gets close here, I use my shield and just start smacking him with active Boltok shots. Hopefully that's enough to kill him. If it's not, I hit him with a sniper shot or some hammer burst bullets, and we'll get him killed nice and quickly. You really want to get rid of him before he gets close to you, just because if he gets close to you, that cryo cannon is going to give you a really hard time. So now we need to clear up the enemies in this room. If you want to, if you're feeling a bit brave, you can get Lani to run in with her ultimate ability here and try and take out a few drones, although it is risky because they can still take her down really quickly. As I'm in the Venom at this point, you can see the Venom's caught up to us on the little mini-map on the right. I do more damage, so if I hit an enemy in the head with a sniper shot that's an active reload, I'll one-shot headshot them, which is really, really useful to get through this room quickly, because these guys are just difficult to get rid of. If you go near them, they're probably going to take you out. One technique that we all use a little bit towards the end is just to rush an enemy together and just melee the hell out of them as fast as we can, just to get rid of them very quickly. But you need to stick together when you do that. If you run in on your own and try and start meleeing enemies, you're more than likely going to get downed very quickly. But yeah, we struggled for a while to get this done. I wanted to say thanks to the guys that helped me with this. We put a good grind in to get it done. I had a guy called Joker and a guy called Blackout helping me with this. And Blackout is Keegan and Joker is Lani. And they had the characters we needed to get this done. I'd also say experiment with that execution, the triple melee execution that I just showed you there. Some people may know about it, but we didn't know about it, and I don't think there's a tutorial for it. We just sort of figured it out after a while, that you can hit twice and then hold the third melee to get that execution. It's really nice. So once again, I'll tell you how to do it. You melee twice. As you connect with the second melee, you go for a third melee, but you hold the button rather than press it like you normally would. So in this next room, we've got, I think, a shot grenade and a couple of ammo pouches that should always be there. And you want to leave any flashbangs you have behind and grab the shock. So we all have nades that do damage. At this point you should have, so somebody should have normal grenades, incendiary grenades, and a shot grenade. And what I would like to do is pick up the flashbang and leave it by the door. And then once we've cleared out the next wave of enemies, you've got enough time to come back and grab those flashbangs, because you will need them to deal with the boss that's coming. If it's the warden, at least, it makes dealing with the warden a lot easier. So, moving on now. What we try to do here is hit the enemies that are coming towards us with a grenade each. We all throw a grenade, and try and get rid of him. I think Keegan has a card on where he holds extra grenades, so he has 5 incendiary grenades, and it was the first time we did that, so we just decided to let him throw all of his grenades at the Scion. You can see he's nearly dead. That allowed me to keep my grenade. If you don't have that card on, or if you're substituting that one out, everybody throw a grenade. You can see that those two guys there threw a lot of grenades. The shot grenade went out, and I think Keegan threw 4 incend grenades at that Scion to get rid of him, and I hit him with a few Boltok bullets that were active, so it took a lot of damage. And now we're all together in this room. We will just try to stick as close to each other as we can and move over to the right side and just start meleeing everyone we can together just to get rid of them quick and save ammo. If anyone goes down, we try to get on the revive as quick as we can, like you just saw there. Don't leave anybody down. Obviously, the longer you leave someone down, the more likely they are to get executed by an enemy, but also you just don't want to go down together. That's game over. You have to restart the whole thing. And that wouldn't be so much of a problem, but you have to go back to the menus, which is annoying. Usually it just restarts you from the safe room or from the beginning if you haven't reached the safe room yet. But going to the menu every time you fail this is pretty triggering. You can see there that Lani just activated the ultimate ability to get rid of a couple of the enemies in this room. And I think the way we worked it out is that by the end, Lani has her ultimate ability back, which she uses to clear out enemies on the landing zone. So we just got a bunch of ammo. Don't bother fighting the Warden on the higher difficulties. It's literally a waste of ammo. You can do a lot of damage with Lani's ultimate to it, but we just sort of lead it over to these supply rooms that are ahead of us and lock it in the supply room. It's a lot easier. You can also do that with the flock, although the flock's a little bit more random. It can take more time to get into the supply room. What I'm doing right here is running into this area and trying to shoot the Scions that are down on the landing zone. That'll bring them up towards us, and you can either fight them, which is what we do. You can also, at the right time, try and run to the opposite direction that they've come from. Like if they come up on the left, run around on the right and just go for the landing zone. But that doesn't always work out, so we try and fight them. When the Warden runs into the supply room, throw a flashbang at him, get him stunned up, and yeah, lock the door on him. He's stuck in there then. You don't have to deal with him, which is nice. Then we move to this supply room and try and take some cover. If someone goes down, don't get too ballsy and run out there to save them. Just let them crawl over to you. You can get them saved. Keep them covered from the enemies that might walk up and execute them. And yeah, we got through that pretty smoothly. So sometimes, because we rushed through to this area, there are enemies that are on the other side. Because at one point in this hive you can go 2 different directions, but the enemies you leave out can sometimes pile up on you in this area. And you can see that the Scions have come up top now. I'm going to do my best to activate my ultimate ability for this point and use it on the Scions. I think the other guys are probably behind me, just keeping cover. And we're trying to deal as much damage to those Scions as we can. The other one hasn't quite got up here yet. But yeah, so killed those enemies. 1 Scion down. We got 1 more to go. I know there's a lot of information flying at you at the moment, but I'm trying my best to help you out. The drop shot was giving us hell right here, but we've got to keep on those revives. Just make sure 1 person stays in the supply room and tries to stay up. If anyone goes down, they do their best to get them back up. And we all need to focus the Scion at the same point. I think Blackout has the boom shot at this point, so he smacks the Scion with a boom shot in a minute. We're just trying our best to stay up. The Venom's caught up to me now, so I can do a little bit more damage. I'm out of ammo for the Boltok, so I got to switch to my snipe, but I think we had too much of a break on the damage to the Scion. So he's regened at least once, but there we go. Blackout whipped out that boom shot. And a couple of shots on him. It's a good idea to save the shots and the boom shot for that point. Once you've killed the Scions, you need to start moving into this room. If you can, obviously take out any enemies that are in front of you first. And look out for the Sire that will come behind you. They are a menace. They don't have guns, obviously, so they can only do melee damage, but they can grab you and drag you away and kill you instantly, which is what happened to Lani here. I had to come back and do my best to save him. Here we go. Save Lani, or save her, rather. So there we go. Lani saved. We're just going to make a break for the escape room now. And one thing you could do is grab the drop shot from the drop shot Scion. That makes taking out the enemies in this last area much easier. but I didn't grab it. I forgot to grab it, so we just had to deal with what we had. Lani at this point has her ultimate ability, so she's ready to go in and destroy anything that gets near the door. Although I think she went down at one point and I had to run in and save her. I was doing my best just to keep these enemies back with my bolt up, doing that bleeding damage. Let's pick him up. I think he gets the ultimate ability going. Just starts smashing heads. And that's it. So I've done my best to give you as much information as possible. If there's anything you're unclear about, feel free to ask me in the comment section. I'll get back to you. Again, the cards I was using were bolt up bleeding damage, the boosted health, damage in the Venom, and extended barrier duration. Those are the 4 I'd say you need. You can probably mix up the other one. Lani was using her melee boosts, shock and awe boost, which is the ultimate ability boost. They're really the vital ones that you need. Also, I think he was using 50% damage from behind, which is a card for Lani. Mac uses the ammo duration, the eagle eyes, which means he can mark more targets. The card where he takes whoever kills the characters he marks, they get a reduction of their cooldown ability, and hammer burst damage and pistol damage. There's a couple of cards you can mix up and play with, but those are the ones that I'd recommend using for those characters. So yeah, hopefully this helps some of you out. I know there's only a handful of people that have actually beaten this at this point. Again, massive thanks to the 2 guys, Joker and Blackout, that helped me with this. And yeah, I hope it helps some of you out. Put it in the comment section if you need help. I'll try my best to get back to you. Have a great day, everyone. And until next time, take it easy.